This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? No, I'm not on Spotify. I should be though, right? I mean, how's everybody doing? Today is another press conference in an hour and 10 minutes. I'll read through the summary that we already know about, and various things. One of the things I'm looking for today is today do they come out and clear the ex-boyfriend of Kaylee, Jack? All right, because they just didn't do it, and they didn't do it again yesterday. And I put a video out about a week ago, a theory that I had, which is now everybody's theory, but I put out the theory and now it's out there, but I actually put my video on channel members only because I don't know, it's like until they say he's a suspect or something, it's kind of like you don't want to have it out there that much. I was thinking, I was one of those things where I'm kind of on the on the edge of even making that video, but well, no, they scheduled this press conference the same day as the other press conference. So this isn't a special press conference. It might turn out to be, but it was scheduled as soon as the other one was over. On the website, there was already this one scheduled. So it's a regularly scheduled press conference. All right? Hey, thanks, Tamara. Not today, but tomorrow. Come on, that's pretty good. All right. That's pretty good, right? All right, listen, everybody. So there seems to be confusion by a bunch of idiots on Reddit. The same trolls that you always see. Listen to this, everybody. On this channel, I am not a charity collector or anything like that at all. Everybody's aware of exactly what my channel is not a charity collector. You guys, if you feel like supporting my channel, support my channel. And then like any other person out there that wants to, that works a job and wants to give part of their income to charity, that's what we do. I do here, okay? You guys send donations in for my channel. Like, hey, Gray, thank you, da-da-da-da. I pay taxes. I do all the stuff. I pay quarterly taxes. I do every single thing. And it's like, is there anybody that's confused out there? You're just supporting my channel like you send super chats into any other channel. I just happen to be one that gives quite a bit back because I can, right? It's like, I can do whatever I want with it if I want to. Okay, I'm not collecting money for a charity. All right, these people are absolutely nuts. I don't know how many times I've gone through this thing. If you send super chats in, I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. All right, that's it. Now, because of the generosity of all the freaks, I'm able to give a lot of the income back because I feel like it. All right, I'm not collecting on behalf of anything. So as you can see, we've given $111,750 to charities since January 2020 and $47,250 this year. Okay, these people on Reddit and that go around and they have fake Facebook accounts and stuff like that are absolutely full of shit. Okay, they don't have a clue what they're talking about. Nobody's confused. Now, here's another thing, everybody. If you do want to send money directly to a charity, don't send it to me, because right away on YouTube they take a percentage away, and then I have to pay taxes on it. Send it right to the charity, okay? If that's what your goal is. Now, if you want to help support my channel to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing, and then at the end of the month I try to give away a lot of it, okay, then great, thank you. But if you want the best bang for your buck for donating for charity, I'm just send it to a charity. This isn't really. I'm not a charity at all. I mean, it's just it's unreal, you know.
But you look good in blue dot M.
Hey, thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too, and welcome, Super Mean Sadie. Thought you already were in here. And thank you very much, Bad Girl. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, BC. And hold on. So this right here says, I'm going to read through the summary here. Oh, before we do that, though, I do have an update on. I got one Delphi update here. Hold on.
Thank you for all your hard work and have a happy holiday.
Hey, you too. Chewbacca.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
take you back if you want me to.
We know what you do, and we know why you do it. Reddit and trolls can remain ignorant. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they don't have a clue what they're doing. I mean, it's actually to the point where, you sort of wonder if you can send in a like a defamation suit or something. It's unbelievable. But anyways, let me show you this press release here. Hey, thanks, Gavel Geeks. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's the same trolls, though. They do the same thing all over the place. It's just, it gets kind of demoralizing after a while, though. And then people go, great, don't talk about them. Well, I don't know what to say. I can't get those posts removed or anything like that, so I might as well say something. All right, so here's what the Nicholas McClelland, the prosecutor, wrote. He said, the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office appreciates the judge hearing our arguments yesterday morning and looks forward to her ruling. As I stated in court yesterday, we strongly believe the evidence shows Richard Allen was involved in the murder of Libby and Abby. Because the investigation is ongoing, and given the intense public interest in the case, we think it would be best if the documents remain sealed, regardless of the ruling. We believe we have a very solid case against Mr. Allen and look forward to making our arguments in trial. That sounds pretty confident, doesn't it? So all the people out there that are getting nervous and worried, you don't need to do it, okay? Just sometimes we just don't get to know a lot. So just don't worry about it. All right, we're going to be just fine, okay? They wouldn't have gone forward and told the family if they weren't damn sure they had the right guy here, right? There was no pressure on them. It would have been 5 years already. There's no pressure, other than the normal pressure that people have when they're investigating a case. I think it sounds great. I mean, how can you be any more direct than that? We strongly believe that evidence shows Richard Allen was involved in the murder. Well, here's the thing. What if they were able to prove that is Richard Allen walking on the bridge? Isn't that almost enough right there? Because he's the guy that said, guys, down the hill. But there's idiots out there that literally believe this. Oh, no, Richard Allen just said, guys, down the hill. And he was just showing them something, and then he took off, and then a killer showed up. Okay, no, that is him on the bridge, you guys. So that's why they know that he's involved somehow. Now, is there somebody else that was waiting somewhere or whatever? We don't know at this point, okay? All right. So now, let me get back to the regularly scheduled program here. It's in an hour, 1 o'clock. All right, but I'm coming on. If you guys want to call in about the... there's already a call here. 509, you're on.
Hey, how you doing? Start off by saying I haven't really listened to more than a few minutes of your...
Are you still there?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I'm getting some feedback on me.
Oh.
I'm not sure... I haven't really listened to any of your videos. I just saw that you were involved in sort of a voice for this.
Involved with what? I didn't hear what you said. Involved with what?
No, that you were just like a leading voice in people discussing the Idaho situation.
Oh.
So I wanted to reach out to you.
Well, thanks.
I don't.
What do you think?
I don't want to dox anybody, but I'd like to speak with you privately about someone who I think is probably very worth looking into.
I mean, are you? Do you live there or something? Or?
My son's a student there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe you could just describe who the person would be instead of the name.
Without saying names, this person was within the last few months arrested for allegedly stalking. The charges are kind of vague, but it says harassing, intimidating, threatening. Just kind of the charge is a vague description of what happened, but it's very well known, and especially among students who are involved in Greek life. This incident, it's kind of shameful for the fraternity that he belonged to, so it's just kind of a well-known thing on campus, and I think the fraternities have probably instructed anyone in Greek life not to speak about it. So
what do you look like?
This kid is not.
Do you know?
Dark hair, usually a little bit longer, like maybe a few inches long.
Mm-hmm.
White guy, dark hair, sometimes a little curly.
Okay.
I've posted pictures, but I haven't released the name, but I got like drugged through the mud for not posting enough information, even though I know that people who, if they, there's people that know about it, and I was trying to reach out and see if anyone else could elaborate. But very recent arrest, 30 days in jail, expelled from the university and the frat, and this was a couple months
Which
ago.
frat?
It is Pike.
Oh, Pike. Okay. Pi
Alpha Kappa.
Yeah, I remember I was in a Theta Chi fraternity. What a waste of time that was. But yeah, I was in that fraternity back in college, way back, 40 years ago or whatever. But, maybe not that many years, but, those all existed where I was too. Pike, Sigma Chi, all of them. Pi
Yeah,
Phi.
Pike's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty big fraternity, but it's probably nothing, just like everything else. But I believe that this having happened so recently, and this kid was very into sports, and his information online just shows like he was very popular and into sports, and local news places would always cover his amazing scores and feats on the field. And for him to experience this pardon me?
Is that soccer?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, you just said scores, so I figured it can't be basketball or baseball or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So So yeah, it's soccer, and the fact that like this kid had a bright future from what I can see, and then he's expelled and is in jail, and his whole social is scrubbed, and his life was probably effectively ruined by this criminal charge and expulsion from the school. So just having that information, one is only led to speculate that maybe whoever he was harassing, he wanted revenge because he's suffering the consequences of his.
Well, they seem to have looked into a stalker that was bothering Kaylee, but they were never even able to find the person or corroborate any of that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was her, and I don't know anything about the case except for hearsay, but like it is in Greek life just well known who it is and who the victim was. So
have you sent a tip in to anybody, or?
I haven't. I just discovered this, and as much as this is common knowledge, the police know, obviously, because this had to have been a pretty big deal on campus.
So maybe they looked at him. Yeah, maybe. But I would send in the tip.
And if he is the main suspect, I'm sure they're not going to, they obviously don't want to tip off the suspect for one reason or another. They wouldn't, blurt out that he's a suspect. I wouldn't think. I'm not into the true crime and all the stuff. This is all, out of my wheelhouse, but I just thought this was pretty pertinent, being that it's so close.
I think it's definitely interesting, But why don't you send me an email? Maybe you can show me like more stuff on an email.
Okay.
Is that something you could do? I mean, I won't share it.
Yeah,
I just want to look at it.
Yeah. And then maybe you could determine like what's appropriate to divulge, and because I don't know.
Okay. I don't know if you're watching the show, but I can tell you my email. It's GRAY, like my first name, GRAY, and then HUZE, and the number 2 at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and send that right now, and then you can just do whatever you feel is appropriate with that information.
Well, that'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. Pretty interesting, maybe there's some, maybe it's not even the same stalker. That college campuses have crazy people on them, and there's all kinds of just sick people hanging around college campuses because there's a lot of drunk, I guess gotta say, like there's a lot of drunk females on Friday and Saturday nights, along with the men. But I'm not saying the predators though are looking for the drunk females. Right? In terms of, it's just, that's the more common thing. They wait around for them. I mean, remember that one case that we did? Oh, yeah, it was the one in Connecticut where the guy, he was at a bar and the girl was really drunk and he took her home and then he killed her. He killed her in his car and then wheeled her in via some kind of, what was the name of that case? It was so crazy. And then he brought her up into his apartment, and you see her, he's carrying her in there, and then he bought all these hazmat suits and stuff, and he was gonna chop her up into bits, but he put her into the suitcase and then wheeled her out, and then he was arrested while driving the vehicle with her. You guys remember that one? No, I think it was in Connecticut or Boston area. Don't you guys remember that case? And there was the apartment complex where his car, you see it on Google Earth, even just parked there at some point. Yeah, Jasmine. Maybe was that it? Jasmine Correa. Forgot the guy's name, but so there's just people lurking all the time. This is way beyond that, though, with murder of 4 people. But and thank you up there, Candalee Woodward Stone and Emily Flotilla. Never illa. Okay, let me read through this. The summary, on the evening of November 12th, 2022, Kaylee Concalves, I think, and Madison Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club, at 202 North Main Street. So here they were, right there. This is where they were at. They were at the Corner Club. Almost looks like a strip joint based on there's no windows or anything like that, but it's not. There's pictures inside. Maybe at one point it was, but that's where they were at. Okay, so I'll go back up in the air here. 202 North Main Street in downtown Moscow between 10 and 1:30. So they were there between 10 and 1:30 a.m. So they stayed pretty late. You know, that's getting close to closing time. Hey, thank you so much, Barb Schilling. And happy Thanksgiving to you, too. On November 13th, so that was on November 13th, early in the morning at 1:30. At approximately 1:40 a.m., the two were seen on video at a local food vendor called Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street and used a private party for a ride. So I'll show you that part. Hold on a second. I'm going to, I'll show you the video that I have of that. Okay, so this is one of the first, you know, it was put out there by Grub Truck, but I made a video about it way early on in the case here, 7 days ago, so that would have been on the, I don't know, 16th or something. But here they are, you can see them. Let me go back. So here is, let me start over. And that guy was sort of interesting at the time. There's this guy that followed them in. He just sort of stares at them for a while, and he flips around his hat and so forth. But they've cleared him. Okay, so they've cleared him. They said that they're not interested in him. All right, and here is Kaylee, and that was Madison. She just walked over to give some guy a hug over here. This guy, and then, you know, she's obviously pretty intoxicated. As you can see when she's walking, she kind of, you know, just sort of walks right through those people and sort of staggers over there and then almost goes backwards and so forth. So she's very, you know, she's drunk basically. Okay, let's just be honest. So there's Kaylee and Madison, and they're ordering food. And then near the end, oh, that was crazy. The V. Remember that shit? All right, so let's just go right here. Now they go over to pick up their food from the other camera angle. And they're waiting here, and this guy is still sort of lurking over here, but apparently he was just somebody that was going to give them a ride home, make sure they made it home. So he's over here, they're talking, and, you know, they're waiting for somebody to pick him up. I think it's probably like, oh, he's here or something. You know, maybe like, I don't know. Who knows what. Oh, this is when she's taking pictures. So she's taking a picture of the guy, her, and then somebody over here, maybe a video even. So on her phone probably has all of these things that we're seeing right here. And then they go off this way, and the guy that was waiting for him, he looks like he was going to give him walk them home or whatever, maybe even give him a ride. But he goes, okay, you guys are going that way? Great. So he goes off this way. Okay, so that was that scenario right there. And ride home downtown to arrive at their, so then they got a ride when those two girls, Kaylee and Madison, went around that food truck right there. They got into a vehicle and they were driven home, and approximately 1:40 a.m. the two were seen on video at a local food vendor. So that's when they were at the food vendor, Grub Truck, at 318 South Main Street. Okay. Then a private party picked them up after they went around, that they left the camera there, for a ride home from downtown to arrive at their 1122 King Road residence at 1:45. So the Grub Truck was parked right here. I mean, exactly right where we're going to be looking right here. So basically where this blue car is, the Grub Truck is kind of a long vehicle, was parked right there. Then they came out, and when they left, they went walking out into the street this way, and the other person on the camera went this way and around, probably to a car that was parked over there. Hey, 8675309, what's going on? Hey yams, yeah. Yeah, okay. And so they got to ride home, probably straight down that road there. From this, I got to flip it around so it goes like this. So now they head down and get back home here at around 1:45-ish. You know, another family member said they got home at 1:59. I don't know, but around 1:45 to 2, all four. There's another couple named Ethan and Zaina, which we'll read about right here. So investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernodle were seen at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive. That fraternity is right here. I mean, it's absolutely, it's like really close to their house. It's right there. Ethan and Zaina are believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was only visiting. All right. So there's no 8 to 9. Earlier they said they were at a party from 8 to 9 and then were home at 1:45. So we were confused, thinking there was 4.5 hours of missing time. But there isn't. There's no missing time. All right. They got home around 1:45 from the fraternity party, which makes sense. So they were probably pretty intoxicated themselves. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the two surviving, and there was, okay, so in the house were Zaina Kernodle, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, and Ethan Chapin, who was just staying overnight there. Yeah, I mean, with his girlfriend, which is pretty common on weekends, I think, or pretty much every night, really, at that age, right? So, you know, they were all there, and then there was 2 other roommates that actually lived there. So it says, detectives believe that on November 12th, the 2 surviving roommates had also been out in Moscow community separately from the other 4, but returned home by 1 a.m. on November 13th. The 2 did not wake up until later that morning. So they got home at 1, and then they got up later. Now, you know, we don't know for certain if they're leaving something out here, you know, like they get home at 1 a.m. and then all of a sudden they get up at, you know, late in the morning. Is there anything in the middle there that we don't know about? You know, that's what I'm saying. It could be, you know, when you read some of these things, just like they had the 8 to 9, is that really accurate? On November 13th, 11:58 a.m., so a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence on one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. You know what's weird is how much time they're spending explaining these 911 calls. It's just, they make it seem more, you know, when people say you doth protest too much, you know, it's like, come on. I don't think there's anything to them, but you're making people think there's something to them by talking about them. The call originated from inside the residence on one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. Moscow Police Department responded to the residence and found the 4 victims on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So apparently, you know, there was one of the roommates may have seen something, called some other people to come over, then they're the ones that called in and said it's an unconscious person. And if you're lying on a bed, and maybe you just didn't notice the blood right away, but it seems like to know that they were unconscious, you would have had to wiggle them or touch them in some way, right? Autopsies were conducted on November 17th, and the Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 murdered individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. So far, they've said that they are not interested in the individual on the camera with the hoodie at the grub truck. They're not interested in the person who drove them home. And what was there's other things too. They're not interested in the 911 callers or any of the people that were the person who called 911, nor the 2 roommates. Okay, so a person that's been interesting has been the boyfriend of Kaylee, in terms of, like, they were dating for very many years since they were young, and Kaylee broke up with him, and apparently they were still friends, and maybe they're going to get back together, and the family supports them 1,000%. However, there hasn't, and there was also a really important aspect, if that is part of the case, is that at 12:26, Kaylee made, let me see if I can just go get the document. Hold on a second. This one, I think it's right here. Yeah, right here. So at 2:26 in the morning, Kaylee starts to call Jack, her boyfriend, right? The ex-boyfriend. Conquilez said Kaylee calls Jack 6 times between 2:26 and 2:44. So that's a lot of calls in a short amount of time. And then the other issue here is that, well, it's not really an issue, but Madison started calling Jack 2 at 2:44, and then last called at 2:52, and then Kaylee then calls Jack one more time at 2:52. So what that means to me is that, they perceive that Jack might not be answering the phone because it's Kaylee calling. But maybe if Madison calls, he might answer. That's how I perceive that. No, Amelia, man, what in the hell are you talking about there? Jesus. Zaina is Ethan's girlfriend. I don't know what the hell did you just start following this like 10 minutes ago? Wow. Yeah, so anyways, Kaylee is the, Kaylee and Madison are buddies, and we don't know if it sounds like she was a roommate too, but maybe she was just about to move out or something. Some people say she was just coming back to show her vehicle, but law enforcement is still saying that she was a roommate there. Did anyone see the interview with the young neighbors? I don't know, Bill. I don't watch those kind of. It's just a lot of crazy stuff out there. Yeah, sure do, John Boy. I mean, people they come in here and just throw out wild shit. I mean, just pay attention for 5 minutes and you don't have that information. Let's see. If we can keep up with the Valos Daybells, this isn't really that complicated, you guys. I mean, in terms of what's going on here. You have Kaylee and Madison. They're the 2 blonde girls that you see there. They were all living in the same place with Zaina and 2 other roommates. Zaina and Ethan is the boyfriend of Zaina. They were at the Sigma Chi party. They got home at around 1:45. The other 2 girls, Kylie and Madison, got home at 1:45. The other 2 roommates that we don't really name, they got home around 1. All right? So I think it's interesting that they're the 2 that weren't killed, because it makes you think that maybe something happened when the other 4 were still awake, and then that person came back and killed them for something that may have happened prior. Don't really know. Now let me get the... Hello? Is this Yasmin or Yasmin? Hello? Yasmin, you got 2 seconds. All right. Gonna have to let you go. Hello?
Hi, I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I was watching a spirit box video where they said
Okay. Yeah, we don't
girls.
we don't do spirit boxes here, okay?
Oh, we don't.
Yeah, those are only idiots believe in spirit boxes. All right, so we're gonna have to let you go. Okay, all right. Bye.
But can you just shout out my?
Yeah. I don't know what she was about to say, but spirit boxes. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Listen, everybody. Boxes and psychics are full of shit in the true crime world, okay? If you're one of the people that actually gives any weight to them at all, you're dumb too, okay? Well, Gray, there's just one psychic who said... Oh, my God. How many other channels did they type something else on? Hoping to find one that hits somewhere. All right. 703, you're on. Wow. Are you there, 703? Hello, are you there? Hello. What's going on with these people?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, you gotta listen to the phone, not the show, okay? Because it took you like at least 20 seconds to answer when I said you're on. So, are you ready to go? What do you got?
Nothing. I'm trying to attend, like hear what. I just.
Oh man, I can't do these. These are something's really. I think it's Troll Central today. There must be a channel out there that's sending the trolls over. What in the hell's going on? What the hell is this? Oh man, we gotta hit that one. Where is it? There it is. What the hell is this? Holy crap, man. This is unbelievable. I got this stuck at 90 seconds too, by the way.
Gray, you're so mean.
What do you mean?
Well, because they were just calling in.
No, they weren't. Okay, they immediately called in with spirit boxes, and the other one I don't even know what they were saying. Hey, thanks Tamara for the troll fund, everybody. Thank you. Got it. Not today, but tomorrow. Oh yeah, I think both of them were. Let's see. Talks to psychics. No, I know that they talk to psychics, but that's just because they're desperate. There's nothing. Here's the thing: what you get from a psychic. You know what a good psychic is? Me. You just have to be somebody like me who can work through cases and have a really reasonable idea of what's going on. However, then you pretend that you got the ideas from the spirit world, okay? That's the truth of it. Like if I went, oh, whoa, oh, jeez, oh, whoa, wow, yeah, I think that the Debbie Collier case is a suicide despite what people are saying because of these things, but I won't tell the cops that. I'll just say, I don't know, cop, I think it's a suicide. It's not called unaliving, too, okay? When you see people say unaliving, there's something wrong with them. Hey, thank you. True Blue and Emily Flotilla. Never illa. Wow, just wow. Let me get the PDF from, was it yesterday? It must have been the day before. Oh, that was from the 20th. Yeah, so there's no, right now, the way they word things, you're not really certain, but it sounds like they're wording things like, we don't have a suspect in custody. Well, what does that really mean when they say that? There's no suspect in custody. All right, here we go. Looks like we got callers. 859. Or 559, I mean.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Grant.
Hey, what's going on?
Just hanging out
waiting with you and the freaks for this news on what's going on with the case in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
feeling like you and all the freaks.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling like frustrated, sad. But it seems like they just are really keeping the details very, very quiet. It feels like they know more than they're revealing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they might have more because they're saying we don't have a suspect in custody. Maybe they have suspects that aren't in custody, and suspects aren't always aren't in custody because you have to, have a probable cause and be able to arrest them and charge them and that kind of thing. There isn't really, they might have some people they're interested in, but that they call suspects, but they're not arrested.
Right. I mean, if you don't have a case against someone or some real, something real to be able to, keep them in jail or in prison or with, it's just kind of like they have to wait until they find enough to prove that they can arrest someone, I'm sure I agree with your assessment. I think a lot of people feel like, your theory on the whole thing is, I think it's pretty spot on.
I think it'll be something, even if it's not spot on, it'll be something sort of similar-ish to that.
Yeah, I mean, how can we not suppose that based on the information we have? And then, like you said, they keep leaving out his name or not saying exactly that he's been cleared. So that means a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was I going to just point out that I have noticed this case because there's it's just like any other case where people are just kind of guessing random things that really don't make any sense. It's almost like they're just creating a story off of the event or something. And it's frustrating to see that too. So I appreciate being here with the freaks because you keep it as factual as we possibly can, and no spirit boxes, no that kind of stuff. It bothers me because I want to know, and I want to know more about the case and keep up with stuff just as a normal freak like yourselves. And I get so frustrated when I see all the other stuff out there, people accusing people that have already been cleared. People are still like, but it has to be them. It has to be this way. And it's like, well, I think we have to learn how to go with the process that the authorities take us through and respect that more. I think people just really want to have their drama and their salacious stuff going on, and they can't wait until, it's like they just use it as a jumping off point or something.
I just
makes me sad, but I don't see that happening here.
Yeah, people like sensationalism first.
Yeah, I think it shows a lack of really knowing how terrible this kind of stuff is that happens. All these crimes, how terrible and how real it is. I think people are just kind of like one step separate from it, like it's some sort of movie they're watching. It's just really weird. I don't understand the mindset.
Yeah.
It's strange, but I just want to say I appreciate you guys, and I've been watching your show for several years now. You kind of got me through 2020, but I was watching you a couple years before that too. So I've just been hanging out. I'm not always here, but sometimes I'll be, doing Grant Hughes lives like every night, and then sometimes I disappear for a while because I get busy and distracted. But I always appreciate your show. I love how you always have something unique going on. Just fun stuff. I used to love watching your flyovers.
I still do those. Occasionally.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun, and I appreciate all those little things you add to the show. It's just a nice way to catch up with true crime, what's going on in our world. and I also really appreciate that you care about different issues within the crime community that matter to so many of us. So
Yeah.
and you help to donate to those things as we, you know, support your channel. You try to use some of those donations to go towards, or some of those, you know,
Yeah.
super chats and things to go towards things that really are important.
Yeah, well, it's,
So
I mean, it's like a
appreciate that.
decision that I make to do, you know, like I literally could keep
Right,
all
I
of
know.
it if I felt like it, but at the same time, I think people
yeah.
realize, you know, people probably realize that, wow, you know, he's going to, because I mean, I try to donate as much as I can reasonably and feel like I can justify doing the show, you know, like I literally do spend 6 or 7 hours a day doing the show 7 days a week, you know, which is more hours than a
Yeah,
regular job would have. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally, and that should be understandable. I don't know. People have a weird idea of how people should spend their money,
Yeah. But,
or how they should, you know.
all right. Well, I got to get.
Nobody's
I got a whole
busy.
bunch of other callers here, but I
You got
appreciate
it,
your
Greg.
kind,
Thanks so much.
your kind words. Got it. Press conference is in 27 minutes. Thank
Yep,
you.
looking forward to it.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, Gray.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye. Call in user 1.
Hey, Gray. I called in the last couple of days and I sent you the social media of this, and I think it is. Did you get a chance to look at it?
The what?
I sent you you told me to email you the link for the disturbing social media of the guy that I think it is.
No, I never got it. Even after the show, like during the, I don't know if it was you yesterday, but you said, "Oh yeah, I'll send it in," but I never got it. So.
I did Gray Hughes 2 at Gmail with.
How did you spell? Yeah.
HUZE, right?
Yeah. Maybe it went into the what is that other folder? The or the spam. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, check it. You really need to see it, I think, before the press conference, because the names, you know how we just gave the initials? The name, this name has not been thrown out there. And I think it has a lot to do with what they put, that the suspect hasn't been named. This is I didn't know this when I called in. I thought it was just the same name. But when I went back to look at it and I pulled up the link, he's under a different name. So the one that I called in about yesterday
what's
is
your
that
what's
guy.
your email? Who's it from?
I don't want to give it over the air, but
Okay,
it starts with Red.
Okay, well, that's well, I don't have anything from anybody with that name, so.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I'll try and do it again, but
Yeah.
you remember me calling in and saying that I think it's the hoodie guy, right?
Yeah, I know you think it is. Yeah, I don't, but I mean, originally
know,
I thought he was
after
interesting at
looking
the beginning. I thought he was interesting at the beginning, and yes, you said that yesterday, and we were all interested to see what you said, but you never sent it, and then it's still not even in my email nor the spam folder. So maybe it's GRAYHUZE the number 2 at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's where I sent. Okay. All right, let me try again,
Maybe
but
make
that
sure
is
to-
where I sent it.
Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, but well, okay, we'll look out for that in the press conference. All right. That you think
Okay. Thanks, Gray.
all right. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
$720. You're on.
Hey, Gray, it's True Blue. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too. What's going on?
Hey, this is going to be super quick, and you'll probably chastise me for calling in about this. But this thing is bugging me, but I think I have the answer that I'm going to stick to now. I think the reason that it was called, the 911 was called in as an unconscious person, I think that the killer left the house and he locked the bedroom doors behind himself, and possibly the dog was in Kaylee and Maddie's room. The dog was barking, so the roommates got up, heard the dog trying to get in the bedroom. They couldn't get in the bedroom. So that's what they said when they called 911.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole 911 thing is irrelevant to the case. You know, like the people calling 911 and why they said this and why they. It's just like what it is one of those things that people, without more information, it's just something to dig into for no reason. You know, they've already said that the 911 callers are not related to the case. the caller nor the two roommates that were there aren't related. They're not involved in the murders. So it's like,
I know.
maybe it explains like what may have
Oh.
happened. Maybe it shows like what he did, lock the door or something. But that's we don't have any evidence of that.
Yeah, I think that he locked the doors just to slow down the discovery. Anyway, maybe
could've.
that's hopefully that's the only smart thing he did, and he left a ton of evidence, and that they will get him hopefully before the week is next week. So that would be amazing.
I wonder if you can
Anyway,
lock. I wonder if the doors can be locked by when you just press the button from inside and then pull it shut, or if it's a key lock. So for your theory,
Well,
you'd have to know that.
True, but a lot of key locks you can still press the button or twist it from the inside too.
Mhm.
And like unless it's a deadbolt, you can probably do that, lock it from the inside
Yeah.
and then shut it. But
Okay.
that was my only thought. And I called in a while ago, and I was just wanting to break up the troll calls. It's like the trolls now are having their girlfriends' calls. I mean, it's just silly.
That was pretty weird, right? The spirit box one.
I don't think that I've heard too many female troll calls on your show. So
Yeah, I'm usually
they're
feel
getting-
pretty safe when it's female calls. I'm usually okay. I don't have to have my finger so tightly on the button over here, but Oh well.
Okay, well, have a great day. Great show. I can't wait for the conference to come on. And happy Thanksgiving to all the freaky freaks out there.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully see. I don't know. Will we see you tonight? Will you have a show tonight and tomorrow?
Probably. So we'll see.
All right.
Maybe a shorter one.
Sounds
but-
good.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Gray, you're a sexist.
What do you mean I'm a sexist?
Well, you said that girls aren't as big of trolls.
Wasn't that good though? Isn't that good, Mary Lou, that I said women aren't as big of trolls? That's why I don't have my finger on the button to mute them.
Well, that's a good point, Gray.
Yeah, I thought so too. Okay, Mary Lou, stay in your lane. All right. 856.
Hey, Gray.
What's going
This
on?
is Spirit Box over here.
Yeah.
Don't hang up on me. Holy God.
Yeah. What's going on?
Gray, I'm telling you, the last couple nights, I've had myself pushing down on a button over here because when they call, it's like, my God, what are they going to say? It's like, whoo, they pause. I thought I paused a lot, but man, they pause and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I just like to just hang up when people call in, and they go, "Hey, I've got something to say."
Oh yeah, I know.
And then all of a sudden you're like, "Well, what is it?" And they go, "Well, I was just." And there's like a 10. I'm just going to hang up right away.
And
I don't have
I'm
time
over
for
here.
it.
Yeah, I'm over here, and you've been in a good mood for the past couple days.
This is
you
good
had
mood, everybody.
Me laughing, and I needed it. You had me laughing, man. You were on such a roll. Oh my God! And Gray, with what you do with the true crime, and we're all freaks. I'm telling you, it's sad. And you got to find a way to somehow release a little bit of that, because it can get to you, because it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But that lady that just called, she had a pretty good point, because maybe.
Well, no, the point she was just talking about maybe unlocking the doors, but the 911 callers it's like everybody keeps looking into the 911 callers. Her point was more just related to why maybe it happened, not like, it's just at a certain point it's kind of like, I mean, we figured that out at the end. We discussed that part, but
yeah, but I mean, think about this. If the other kids got up by 11:30 and all, and maybe if the dog was in there barking and they couldn't get in, then they would maybe they're unconscious.
Yeah, but the only problem is like we can all come up with all kinds of stuff like that, and it just seems like
we could.
Was the dog really in? We don't even know the dog was in the room. First of all,
no,
we don't know the doors were locked. People get up really late on the weekends in college because they drink, You know,
Yeah,
so they get
exactly.
up and they get up and they might have just, you know, one of the roommates stumbled around and saw the feet there and called their name over and over and over, and they didn't answer or something. And went, oh my God! And they called some friends up, and they're the ones that said they came over, saw something similar, and said, well, the roommate says the girl's unconscious. Send over an ambulance. Yeah, it could just be simple like that. So it's hard to come up with.
Exactly. You don't think they went in, because I was a little confused at first the way they put it out. They didn't go in there and shake somebody, did they?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, could have been.
I mean, Greg, wouldn't they have seen?
Well, yeah, I mean, if they shook somebody and you'd think they would have seen blood, unless they were face down and all the blood sort of dripped straight down through the. But I guess there was blood on the wall and stuff too. So.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, but that isn't what happened. They said it was an unconscious person. They've already ruled out all those people. So when we talk about isn't it weird and all that, what's the point of that at that point? See, that's more like, why did the mom let the girl go to the bridge? That's what that is.
Yeah, I get your point. Now, could this person have already been there? And that, I don't know, I guess that's been thrown around, but he either was watching and waited till all the lights went out and then made his move, or was he in there prior to and waited? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting today with the press conference. But, you know, we all know that the police usually have a lot more evidence than what they're going to put out. And we can't blame the police for saying, oh, my God, we're going on 2 weeks. My God, there were 4 people murdered. 4. Not one. You got a little town, and you have 4 people.
Well, the thing is, the 2 girls where it says they went to bed at 1 a.m. and woke up the next day, there could be information that they have, they heard somebody, or
maybe,
and they're not going to put that in there. Hey, the girls heard somebody at 1:55, and they were, they're not going to put that. They just say they went to bed at 1, and then they, locked the doors because maybe they heard stuff they thought maybe it was some ruckus, but maybe it was just people that are normally there partying because it's a party house.
Yeah. Gray, do you have, and I can't even read about this poor animal. I can't. Just, it's bad enough with these kids.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
But do you think anything could be related there with a sicko like that?
Well, they said that they didn't connect them. They don't think they said that they don't believe that's connected at all.
Really? Because I was trying to find that in everything that I was reading on the news. But that's pretty deranged too. Well, I guess we will see. But I just had to check in. But I honestly think, Greg, I think they're going to find him. I don't see how you can get out of that house murdering 4 people and not leave something.
Well, I just want them to clear or whatever they want to do with the ex-boyfriend. I just want them to say either way. If they don't say it again, I think they're, then it's like, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw last night when I was watching you, Gray, you pinned out where you thought he might have lived. That's pretty darn close.
Yeah. Well, somebody said that. Well, he owed a Venmo for Wi-Fi to a person that lives there. So maybe he was just going over there using the Wi-Fi. I don't know, but. He might.
You don't know, but you know what? When you think of how personal it is, I would like to know. And I read they were going together they've been going together for
forever.
I think now don't quote me, 5-6 years. They went way back, these kids.
Yeah, and I think they've known each other for even longer. So for her, she's like a family. So you could see that was his dream. That's the sort of the scenario. She was his dream, and just then she's leaving, going off, and he's kind of losing his whole identity and what. Yeah,
Gray, when it's like I say with Nancy and I, it's like she was so much prettier, and I don't mean to say this, but
yeah,
Then I don't like to say it because
Well,
but
it's just,
I say
it's just
it
the
with
reality
Nancy,
of
and
it. Well, it's the reality.
Beauty
of it.
and the Beast.
Yeah.
I always tell her,
Well,
Beauty and the Beast.
Jeez.
She's Beauty on the Beast.
Oh, come on.
And so, I mean, she was really a pretty girl, and he could have been a heck of a nice kid. But, I mean, I could see why he wouldn't want to lose her. I have to be honest, you know?
Yeah. Well,
So,
I gotta get ready because we got
all right, you
12
get
minutes.
the other calls. I just wanted to let you know that I'm over here following you, and if you're on later, I'll be on in Freaks. I want you all to have. I'm going to be on Thanksgiving because Nancy's cooking, and so I wish you all. If anybody's going away and I don't get a chance, happy Thanksgiving and God bless everybody that's in chat.
That's right.
And Gray, I'll be talking to you, but I'll say it again. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your beautiful wife and your puppies.
Well, you too.
Okay?
All right.
But I'm going to be on if you're on,
Yeah, I'll
so
probably
God
be on.
willing, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Talk to you, Gray.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Lillian. Let's see. So this is going to be the press conference right here. And it's on in 10 minutes and 53 seconds. So we'll just have that on the screen there. And there is one more caller here. So 715. Got to make it short. We got the press conference coming up. Hello, 715. Hello, 715.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, who's this?
Hi, it's Raw Olympia. How are you today?
Who?
Raw Olympia.
Well, what's going on?
You know, I wanted to ask if you wondered why law enforcement and FBI did not tape the yard and the driveway until 10 days after the crime.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I mean, the Fox News guy came out there and he said, wow, they haven't looked through here. There's footprints. I mean, there's leaves all over the ground. There's no disturbance of it. And then a little bit later, after he said that, they came over and blocked off the whole area. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
Exactly.
It seems like that's something that they would have thought of.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've seen just a lot of that. I mean, they're saying it's not the dog Skinner, and yet have they arrested the dog Skinner? You know, if they...
Well, no, they already said he wasn't... they just said it's not connected based on what they saw.
That's weird.
Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
we got the press conference coming up here in 9 minutes. You gonna watch it?
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm going to be watching it. I'm right with you, and I've been trying to send you money, and my little thing is stuck, so that's
Oh, it's
why
okay.
I called.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Usually I would just put it on. Thank you. Thank you for everything. And
thank you.
may this be solved soon. They're beautiful students. We are devastated up here in the Northwest.
Yeah. I live in Portland, but do you live kind of near there? Or Olympia? You said Olympia?
I live in Olympia. That's
Yeah.
why I'm Raw Olympia.
Yeah.
My name is Colleen, but yeah.
Okay.
I live just north of you.
Oh, cool.
So stay safe.
All right. Well, thank you
Yeah.
very much for calling. Thanks for the
you.
support of the channel. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Definitely.
Okay, bye.
Great channel.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
See, there's people that actually like my channel. Isn't that weird? All right, here we go. This is it. I have a backup link too somewhere. Let me go to that one.
You have that kid.
So I think.
In Barbies or my phone or my, trucks or whatever it is, and they're just so.
Let me see where the live is. I think that's the button right there.
Like, depending on
There
how
we go.
significant it is, sometimes you need help because.
All right. No, that's Colleen from in the chat. She's here all the time. So everybody hit that like button, all right? It's not hard to do. Just always do that when you go on to people's live streams, for taking the time for you to be there. Here we go. Hit the like button, 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 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, hit the like button. We need to get to 1,000. We're only at 549. Come on, you guys, hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button, 10, 20, 25, 30. Hey, thanks, Whimsical Me. 30. You want to put 30, sir? 25 of them, you're out. I'm at a 25, 30, 30, now 5. 30. Come on. Hey, we're at 620 now. One more shot at it. One more shot. Hit that like button, 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 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, hit that like button, 10. 30. You want to put 30, sir? 25 of them, you're out. I'm at a 25, 30, 30, now 5. I'm 35. Oh boy. Sorry about that. We have the pest control. You know how they come around and clean every once in a while? they're outside and Blue's going nuts. Sorry, I didn't even have any background music for you guys either. Blue? Calm down, Blue. It's gonna be okay, buddy. Yeah. Whew. God, Blue. Alright, stay right here. It's gonna be okay, Blue. Oh boy. Yeah, Blue's awesome. Alright, you guys, look. Here's Blue. What? Alright, so the thing is with Chihuahuas, if you never liked Chihuahuas because you just never did, I would give them a shot. They're the best dog I've ever had. I've had Pomeranians and other larger dogs earlier in life. And they're awesome. They actually have like really great personalities. They do bark a little too much, but whatever. Blue. I'm gonna have to have him sit on my lap. Chloe's feeling left out. Let's see. Come here. Okay, here we go. You can get the shot right here. Here we go. Oh. Just a second. Woo! Oh, They're all wiggling around. All right, Chloe. Let me put you on the ground. There you go. Keep Blue up here. Keep him quiet. Hey, thank you, Michelle G. I think I'm going to change my intro and add in some. Blue, we heard you, Blue. Blue, Blue. Calm down. Oh man. Here, go ahead. Go ahead. Can you hear him? Blue, it's gonna. Blue, it's okay, buddy. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to turn down my mic so you don't hear the dog the whole time. Blue. Oh, let me get rid of my face on here. I'll just make it smaller. It's gonna be okay, Blue. And if it's really low, I can boost it up.
Sorry, I forgot the most important part of my job. I just want to let you guys know that there will be a question and answer time. We're going to try and extend it today to be a little bit longer, so that way more people have the opportunity to ask questions. We have a gentleman who will be passing around a microphone, and he does not know what organization you're from. And so
That's pretty quiet.
So it's purely random. So please keep questions to 1 or 2, and we'll try and get to as many people as possible. So thank you.
How about that? I'm going to be really loud because I boosted up 10 decibels. Testing. Yeah, way out. Blue, it's going to be okay, buddy. You're going to make it.
Good afternoon. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. Joining me today is Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department, Moscow Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer, Colonel Kedrick Wills of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. We are thankful for all the tips and leads the public has provided in Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison's murder investigation. No bit of information is too small, and every tip will be pursued. So far, this information has helped investigators build a picture of the areas of interest and the relationships these four had with each other and our community. We still believe there's more information to be gathered, which will continue creating a window through which we view this case. We all want to understand why this happened and what drove someone to do this. The families of those involved and our entire community deserve to know. We ask anyone with any information related to what happened with these four who are in our community, their interaction with others, and whether they expressed concern or commented about someone or something strange, to get that information to us. Even if you don't believe it is relevant, investigators will review and determine if and how your information builds the picture. Sometimes what a video or picture doesn't show is equally as important as what might be there. Information on how to submit tips and updates on the investigation can be found on the Moscow Police Department webpage. We continue moving forward to understand why this occurred in our community and seek answers to bring justice for the victims and their loved ones, because they deserve it. I personally want you to know we care, and we will continue to work hard to get these answers for these individuals. At this time, I'd like to introduce Captain Roger Lanier for an update on what we can currently share about this investigation.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department. I want to assure you first off that the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, the University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today I'm going to recap in brief what we know. I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th, at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Moscow police officers responded and found two victims, two on the second floor and two on the third floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the four were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual. Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence, physical evidence, video surveillance, and they've contacted numerous residents to see if anybody may have seen or heard anything. They continue requesting tips that can be sent to our tip line or called in to our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed on maps on our city website and our Facebook page, but as stated earlier, generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive, and the area west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation, The Moscow Police Department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff dedicated to this investigation. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow and 20 additional agents assigned in various locations, as well as 2 members of the Behavioral Analysis Unit. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, a public information team, a forensic services and crime scene team, and 15 uniformed troopers who have been valuable in helping provide community patrols and safety patrols. We very much appreciate their support. This is our highest priority. It will remain our highest priority. We owe that to the families. At this time, I would like to introduce Colonel Kedrick Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you for those that are in attendance today for your attendance. We really appreciate this. What has affected Moscow and the community here has affected all of us as Idahoans. We have a way in Idaho that the communities come together in tough times, and this is one of those tough times. Leads from the community are important, and as the captain spoke, no tip is too small, and we would urge anybody that has any information whatsoever to please provide that to help us solve this case. The lead agency of this case is Moscow Police Department with Chief Fry and his dedicated team of professionals, and the Idaho State Police's role is to support them and their good work here. There is an awful lot of efforts going on behind the scenes, and I'll explain why it's behind the scenes in just a moment. But what can't be seen isn't always known of what we do in law enforcement, and I'd like to explain that in just a moment. But the Idaho State Police and the FBI continue to provide resources to this investigation. I would like to speak for just a moment, if I could, not about this specific case, but rather an overview of how cases are investigated, so that maybe it'll give some sense of the why of the timeline here. We understand you want answers. We want answers too. But these take time, and if I could explain just a minute about the process here of what we go through just generally in investigations. So we use in advanced investigative techniques and crime scene processing. So what happens when a call comes in, the original officers, the first officers that respond to a scene, and then once that they've got their work there and determined that they need some additional investigative assistance, then they call investigators to come and help process that scene. And oftentimes it requires a forensics team to help process that scene. And when I say process the scene, what we're looking for is we're looking for any evidence that may help us to be able to find the people or person responsible for what we're seeing. And so we're collecting biological evidence, we're collecting latent evidence, whether it's shoe prints or tire marks or anything like that. We're trying to collect that evidence. We're trying to we do that through photographs, we do that through 3D mapping to be able to map the scene. We identify and we mark evidence, and then we collect that evidence. And then we look for any evidence that we think may be helpful. And once that is done, then we package all that evidence up and we send it off to forensics laboratories to be analyzed to see if it can help provide clues of what's happening. All of this takes an immense amount of time. The reason this is important to understand is because it's important that while this is such a tragic circumstance that we find ourselves in law enforcement, we believe we owe this to the surviving families to get this right. And so we're not willing to sacrifice speed for quality. We do testing for blood, we do latent print processing, any documentations for anything at the scene so that we can reconstruct that scene at a later date. If I could share just a few statistics of this particular crime scene. At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies. We've processed over 1,000 total tips and conducted 150 interviews. I hope that you understand that gives a little bit of a perception of just how complex this case is. We have the utmost confidence in this investigation, and that this investigation will be done right. We ask you and we ask the public to please remain patient as this investigation unfolds, and please rely on official sources of information. We really appreciate the media's assistance. We know you have a job to do. We know that you're professionals and you do it to the best of your ability. And we're thankful that you're here, because without you, we could not get the correct information to the community that could help us solve this. So I can't overemphasize how much I appreciate and we appreciate in law enforcement your willingness to do this. What you are doing matters. And it matters in what we are committed to doing, and that is to, the best way we can think of to honor these victims and their families is to conduct this investigation correctly. Finally, I'd like to share that I've been in regular contact with Idaho's Governor Brad Little throughout this investigation. Governor Little is making available up to $1 million for expenses related to this ongoing investigation. As you heard, the resources that are here in Moscow and throughout with this investigation, you can see that those expenses would add up quickly. Like all Idahoans, Governor Little is deeply saddened by the loss of these 4 bright and promising young lives. And he's making sure the state of Idaho provides all of the resources possible to ensure that the person or persons responsible for this are brought to justice. I'd now like to turn the time over to the University of Idaho President, Scott Green.
Good afternoon, I'm Scott Green, President of the University of Idaho. We deeply appreciate the kind words of support we have been receiving from our alumni and friends, as well as many others who may not know us but have taken time to reach out. People are donating to the victims' GoFundMe pages and the Bruce Pittman Fund for Students in Need, and they're buying personal devices for our students and continuing to look for other ways that they can help. This is what it means to be a vandal. In the last 24 hours, we have sent updated communications to our students, employees, parents, and alumni. And in those communications, we discuss campus security, services available to our students and employees, our plans for both remote and live instruction to close the semester, and our plans for a candlelight vigil on November 30. All of this is available on our website. We all want swift justice and continue to work with law enforcement to aid them in any way helpful to their investigation. As the investigation continues, we will better know how to proceed in the new year. We will endeavor to find the balance among safety concerns, the need to grieve, and the long-term needs of all of our students and employees. Through everything we do, we will keep Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, as well as their families and friends, in our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. I'm sorry, I need to introduce Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer. Tyler, sorry.
Oh boy, here we go.
Good afternoon, my name is Tyler Palmer. I'm Deputy City Supervisor with the City of Moscow, and I'm here today on behalf of Mayor Arthur Betke, the Moscow City Council, and Moscow City Administration. The loss of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan has sent an overwhelming, palpable wave of grief, confusion, sorrow, and anger through our peaceful community. Mayor Betke, with the support of our City Council, has instructed staff to marshal all necessary resources for our law enforcement professionals as they diligently work to assure the safety of every member of this community and find the person or people responsible for this. The outpouring of support, kindness, and genuine empathy locally and even globally has been a humbling reminder that those who want to help far outnumber those who want to hurt. And we take some solace in that. To all of you who've reached out, sent letters and cards, provided food for those working around the clock on this investigation, and offered other resources, we thank you sincerely. These continued acts of charity and humanity remind us why we live in this tight-knit, caring community. The City of Moscow is committed to seeing this investigation through to a successful end and will continue to dedicate whatever resources are necessary for that effort. We are thankful for the immense support from the University of Idaho, Lake Tahoe County, Governor Little and his office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Moscow is my home. And I know we won't be defined by tragedy, but how we respond to it. We mourn the loss of these beautiful young people, and we will relentlessly pursue justice on their behalf. Thank you.
So we would like to open it up to any questions, but I would like to ask if there's an Argonaut reporter here that would like to ask, and then second after that, an Evergreen reporter, if there's one in the room. So let's start with the Argonaut, please.
I'm with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can I speak?
James Torman Aldrich with the Argonaut. I have two questions, if that's all right. Firstly being what the police presence is going to look like after Thanksgiving break and how long that's going to last.
So I'll go ahead and answer. The police presence is going to be very heavy after the break. We have Idaho State Patrol that will also still be in the area, and you'll see a high impact of patrol officers and troopers, as well as Latah County Sheriff's Department personnel in the area.
And then secondly, will there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Daily Evergreen?
Frankie Beer, the Daily Evergreen. I guess the Moscow PD press release mentioned looking into hundreds of pieces of information about Kaylee's potential stalker. I was wondering what led you to believe she did have a stalker possibly, and why those pieces of information haven't come up with conclusive results.
I'm actually going to let Captain Lanier answer this question, okay?
Thank you, Chief. We obtained information through some of our interviews that Kaylee had made some comments about a stalker, so that's where that came from. We have followed up looking at specific time frames in specific areas of town. So far, we have not been able to corroborate it, but we're not done looking into that piece of information. Thank you.
Dan Springer, Fox News. If I can get Captain Lanier. Sir, why not tell the public who the target was? You've said that this was a targeted attack. Why not tell the public who was targeted? If it was multiple people, it would go a long ways to telling the public what you're looking for and who you're looking for, the type of person you're looking for. Why not do that to alleviate some of the fears out there in the community?
Well, first and foremost, we have the integrity of the investigation to preserve. And we feel like that information is integral to us and how we conduct our investigation. Releasing that to the public may or may not flood us with a lot of information that's not relevant or specific to what we're looking at.
Don't you
So
want more information from the public?
we do want more information, but we don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point, because we're not going to release why we think that.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I see that the FBI set up a special web page just to collect digital information. I'm also curious if any of the investigators can speak to this. Curious if the Wi-Fi hotspot has been tapped at all. It's possible if the suspect had their phone on them, it may have pinged off the Wi-Fi in the residence. Has that been checked on at all?
As I stated, our investigation is looking at every avenue of every piece of evidence that we can. The FBI has given us a website for any downloads of video or anything, so we ask people, if you have any of that, to send it to us, please.
Thank you. Natasha Chen, CNN. I have a couple of questions here. One, in many homicide cases, the first hours, the first days are so incredibly crucial. Now that we're moving into a window that's further and further away from the incident, Does that concern you about the ability to arrest a suspect, or do you have information that you simply can't share with us that makes you confident that you're close to solving this?
I'm going to have the Colonel step up and address that, please.
Well, thank you for the question, and I would like to address it a little more globally than specifically. A little more globally here. Yes, as time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected, and so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so, while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture of with all of the information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information that we're gathering. It may help us to provide a clearer picture, and so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. I was wondering if there's any evidence that suggests the attacker visited the first floor where the 2 surviving roommates were.
That information will not be released at this time. It's part of our investigation, and as we stated earlier, there's many things that are involved in an investigation that we will release and things we won't.
Good afternoon, Ashley Soriano, Fox News. I have 2 questions. Have you considered the possibility of a murder-suicide? Is that something that you guys are considering right now?
That question has been asked previously, not at a press conference. It's certainly something that we looked at in the early part of the investigation. It is not something that we're looking at this time.
And I know some of the investigators' vehicles and police vehicles are coming in and out of the driveway. Do you think that potentially could disturb any tire marks or other evidence?
Yeah, so the question has been asked about why did the crime scene tape expand, and that's not uncommon. When the first officers arrived, they tried to cordon off what they thought was important. We immediately expanded that when the investigators got there to process the scene. And logically, as this progresses, and you've seen this through our press releases, we have expanded it to several areas of the city and have in fact canvassed entire neighborhoods. So we try very, very hard to uncover every single bit of evidence possible in an area before we move on to the next area. So yes, we've looked at everything that we think we need to look at in and around the crime scene at this point.
But do you believe that cars coming back and forth in the driveway, potentially like tire marks or foot marks that there could have been?
Well, it's a gravel parking area, so it would be hard to say that.
How are you folks holding up? How are your detectives and officers holding up? And Chief, you mentioned that detectives are prepared to work tomorrow on Thanksgiving, so is the expectation that they will be?
That is correct. We're going to have many detectives and agents working all the way through this incident. Our people are dedicated. Our people care about this community. Our people want to ensure the community that we're here to bring safety and we're here to get a resolve on this. So we will continue to push through. We'll give people time off as they need it, and we will continue to take care of them. But we're gonna keep pushing on this until we come to a conclusion.
Chris Mitchell, KLEW. Is there any plans to increase security for the Apple Cup on Friday?
Well, I can't speak to what's going on in the state of Washington. I can only speak to what we're doing here on the campus of the University of Idaho in concert with President Green and his team. We are absolutely, with the Idaho State Police and the Moscow Police Department, we are 100% dedicated to making sure that this continues to be a safe place for students to do what students need to do. And so that's why we have so many uniformed troopers here that aren't necessarily assisting with the investigation, but rather here to help with the campus security. And President Green and his team have been fantastic in helping to strike that balance to make sure that we have law enforcement resources here. So while I can't speak what's going on anywhere else, I can tell you at the University of Idaho we have a lot of state troopers, a severe increase of state troopers and Moscow police officers here, both on campus as well as throughout the community.
John Gabell, ABC News. Are investigators looking at any possible connection to an unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about a year and a half ago? Specifically, 2 people stabbed in their home in the middle of the night, long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow-up on, and we will continue to follow up on those.
Are you aware of that case?
I actually had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay, one more question. Can you confirm the bodies have been released to the families or are being so released today?
I believe they have been released to the family, and I know that I believe one of them has already had a funeral.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also you mentioned that the analysis unit is here. Will we be able to hear anything from them about a working profile they possibly have? And on that note, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
So we look at every avenue. We're looking at every group of people. Like I said early in our first press conference, we're not going to let any stone go unturned. I believe can you just clarify your second portion of that question? Oh, the BAU, sorry.
Yes, I would like to know if the BAU has a working profile because, you know, you look at victimology. Sure. Are you able to tell us who was killed first on the time of death so that we may understand, like, who was, if it was a targeted attack, it would make the most sense if they killed one of the roommates first and then maybe the other two, you know, I know Sure. This is not speculation, I'm getting off topic. My question is are you guys looking at a working profile? Have they come up with anything new regarding the motive or intentions of the killer or killers?
The BAU unit is working diligently to do what they do. Will that be provided? I'm sure that may be provided once the conclusion of this case comes together. But they are continually taking in information and reading reports and gathering information for that.
Good afternoon, Chief. Amanda Rowley with CRIME2. Seeing some speculation with some of the cars being searched this past week. Wonder if you can squash some of the rumors and that speculation. Is there anything you can share specifically on the white car out front? And then a follow-up for the university after.
So I'll have Captain Lanier go ahead and come up with that.
Thank you.
Well, we have looked at a lot of different vehicles. I'm assuming you're referring to the vehicles that were in the parking lot at the time. Yeah, so some of those vehicles belonged to the victims and some belonged to other people in the house. And so for us, that's part of the crime scene. As I mentioned earlier, the crime scene was expanded out through the parking lot. So we wanted to make sure that we looked at those prior to releasing the crime scene. It was part of the initial investigation that night.
Thank you. And for the university, is there any additional information at this time that you can offer about the candlelight vigil, maybe what we can expect from that, and then any other information you can provide about that ask of the community to light the night on November 30th?
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn this over to Blaine Eccles at this point. He's actually planning the whole event, so we appreciate it.
Good afternoon. I'm Blaine Eccles, Dean of Students. The vigil is going to be hosted next Wednesday, November 30th at 5 p.m. We have it scheduled for the administration lawn at the moment. We're going to make a final determination on location early next week, just because we're waiting for the weather window to get closer, so we feel comfortable that that's where it will be located. We're anticipating a large turnout of community members as well as university members, students, faculty, and staff at that particular event. And all of the families have been invited to join us if they so wish from that aspect of it. The response has just been absolutely beautiful and overwhelming to the love that has been provided to the institution as well as the family members. The Light the Night event that you're talking about, while I don't have a lot of details on that, is set to coincide at the same time, just so that people that can't be here in person as part of the vigil are going to be able to participate remotely as well. The vigil will be live streamed, and it's safe to say that the Vandal family is going to unite and come together to support the families in the darkest moments of their life, quite frankly.
So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 more questions, okay?
Jordan Smith, KXLY. At this point in time, do investigators know which entrance the suspect used to enter the residence, if this was someone who might have known the door code at the front or maybe used the back door?
Once again, that's part of our investigation. We're not going to release that information this time. Thank you.
Noah Bolter, Murrow News 8. You said this was a targeted event. You won't tell us why they were targeted. What should students do to prevent being targeted in the future?
Well, that's a great question, especially in light of what just happened. If you would have asked us 9 days ago, we would have had probably a different answer. Moscow's always been a very safe community. In light of this, and maybe we should always look at it this way, vigilance, always traveling in pairs, knowing where you're going, telling someone when you arrive, and just that kind of general awareness. Maybe we should, as a community, have always been doing that. You know, in some ways, this took our innocence. I would tell students that you need to stay with a friend. I know that the university staff is looking at different options to increase some of the safety on campus and providing certain options to students. So, yeah, going forward, there's a lot of things that maybe we wish we would have done before, but we need to start doing now.
So I'm going to go ahead and close, but what we do want to let our community know that we do care. We do want to provide a safe environment. We will continue to work hard, and we'll continue to do everything we can. We want people to be vigilant. We want people to report anything suspicious to us and let us get there and handle it. But we are here to provide that safety. So I want to thank you today for coming, and I appreciate your questions.
Thank you.
One call was placed early morning.
You didn't know we care to get these answers for these individuals.
Okay, so I'm gonna move it back to the second guy. He's always, he's gonna give us the information. So you'll get to hear it again with your own ears, everybody.
I'd like to introduce Captain Roger Lanier for an update on what we can currently share about this investigation.
Oh, that was probably really loud because it's still mic'd up, up 12 decibels.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department. I want to assure you first off that the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, the University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today I'm going to recap in brief what we know. I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th, I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m.,
Here, by the way, well, hold on. Testing. I have to make it go way down over here. Let's quit blocking just sort of basic comments of somebody going, "Oh, this is dumb." Those are okay, like it's, just you don't get so anxious to block and delete comments all the time. All right, it was just like a barrage. I don't know if that was accidental or not, but there was people being blocked and hidden and then unblocked and hidden. It just kept going on and on. I know that chat's probably moving so quickly, so you accidentally press on the wrong one or whatever. But let's try to be less like trigger happy. I mean, I know that there's some dumb comments in there, but it's okay to just be frustrated with something.
A 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Moscow police officers responded and found 2 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved.
Okay, here it goes, everybody.
The 2 surviving roommates. The male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet.
The guy with the hoodie.
A private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home.
The car they got into.
Any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called
That's Jack.
several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
There you go.
Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence. That individual. Several times the morning. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
Right. So that isn't where you go, I don't know, that was dodgy. No, they said they don't suspect that individual. Okay?
Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence, physical evidence, video surveillance.
He says it
And
weird.
they've
What the hell
contacted
kind of
numerous
comment is that?
residents to see if anybody may have seen or heard anything. They continue requesting tips.
I mean, they didn't go as far as say he's cleared. They don't suspect that individual. Okay?
They can be sent to our tip line or called in to our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed on maps on our city website and our Facebook page. But as stated earlier...
Anyways, let me turn this off. Hold on. Okay, now we're back to normal here. But this is how quiet it would have sounded. Watch, listen.
We're generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and the area west of US 95 over to...
I mean, it's literally like 25 decibels. It's supposed to be around 12 or higher. So there you go. You can go back and watch it. I'm not going to play it again. But so that's why we were doing that last night. It's like the longer they were taking, it seemed like maybe that Jack guy isn't part of it. But it's got to be something. The phone calls do exist, and there's a reason he didn't answer. But it could have been that he was sleeping, or he was not answering on purpose, right? Like, just, I don't want to answer. I don't want, because it's 2-something in the morning. It's still interesting that Madison called because, she may have thought too, well, he's not going to answer if I call, but maybe if you call, So that's a real thing that happened, but obviously they don't think that that's related. But that is an interesting element. That's why when you put it all together, he's like, almost fits into the perfect suspect, right? But now it's crazy. Now, I mean, we're talking, we're 11 days into the 10 days in, and they don't really even have a suspect of any kind that we're aware of. They said they don't have a suspect that's in that's been arrested or anything like that, or in custody. So, man, where are we at now? Crazy. Yeah, they didn't really provide much more other than that they cleared one more person. Or, you know, they said that they used the same wording on him as everybody else. They don't use the word cleared, really. I mean, one, I think they use it a couple times. Yeah, to me, it looks like a person goes in and kills 4 people in 2 different rooms. You know, were they just looking for? This is what we were saying originally when this case first started. Was they maybe went into a room, thinking that the person in the room was, either Madison or Kaylee, but it wasn't, and so they ended up killing. But that would mean that they're not aware of where they lived in the home, and weren't stalking by watching from outside. Okay, because if you're watching from outside, you're through the windows, you would know what floor people lived on, and you'd know exactly what you were doing. You would look there, you walk right down onto the patio, right, and then you would go up the stairs to that area, with that room, right. You wouldn't be confused entering the home from the patio as you had been watching from out there many times. You would know that you would go in, go up the stairs, go to that room. But you have 4 people killed, so for me it feels like somebody is, like those people, the killer blames for something. Hey, thanks, Emily Flotilla, never illa. I still haven't heard back from the person. So if you're out there and you were the one that called in earlier, maybe send me the information. Maybe that's something to look at now. But if I was you, I would just turn it into the police. So apparently this was some guy that other students know about. But I'm sure they would be aware, right? I mean, some student that was arrested for assault of some sort. Of course, they're going to be looking at that. No, it doesn't sound like terrorism at all. Hey, cuckoo bananas. What the heck was that? Oh. Okay, well, you guys, I got the phone lines, or we can go back to the phones. I feel weird high up there like that. Crime dissector, thug rejector, I'm a certified human law. Put it down there. Okay, there you go. And would you hit the subscribe button out there if you'd like to subscribe to the channel? Hit the like button, that'd be awesome. Really appreciate it. I mean, we actually do true crime here. That's what this channel is. Alright, so the phone lines are back open again. If you'd like to call in, that'd be great. If not, I mean, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay on here. I've already done 2 hours. I got to come back on later for a little bit too. So maybe I'll take a couple calls and that'll be about it. And new callers, please. I want new people to call in, not the same ones over and over again. Hope it isn't the Rolling case. What did you think of the ROTC question? I didn't hear the ROTC question. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I recorded the entire question and answer session. Well, thanks, Zach and Fox Nanny. Yeah. It's always a bit. It's frustrating when the sound isn't good. But then it's also frustrating when you forget that the sound has been turned up by using a filter. When it's over, then your voice sounds like a truck. Almost sounds a little bit like this. That wasn't nice, Gray. I was having a cup of coffee and it spilled all over me. Well, that's too bad, isn't it? Somebody just sent me an email saying, Gray, did you see where the sex offenders live next to the house? And I said, yeah, it's been on the screen for like 2 weeks now. And they go, God, you're rude. Really? How about you watch the damn show every once in a while? Yeah, look it right here. Oh, sex offender. We've talked about it. There's one that lives here and here. They're registered. I'm sure law enforcement's looked at them. Time to recalibrate your thinking. Well, we went over some of the stuff last night. So the question I asked last night, let's see if the poll changes today. Let's do it. Here we go. Question. I think that it's very possible that the killer was waiting inside the house when they got home, hidden somewhere. Because we know that at like 2:40 they're just making phone calls and so forth. You know, so they all go to sleep. That means there isn't somebody sitting around in the living room that they're scared of. Right? They all go to sleep. So there's somebody, I think, so okay. Oops. I have to, my grammar is really shitty here, but that's because they only give you a certain amount of letters. So there's the poll. Was perp in house before 145 hid? So it should say hidden or whatever, but they only give you a certain amount of characters there. All right. And the other one is they came in like after 3 o'clock because they all went to bed. You know, it would have been after 2:52, right? So they go to all are sleeping. Did the person just wait in the house, or did they come in later? That's a question you might ask. Okay, so it's about like it was yesterday. Yeah, I don't know who asked the murder-suicide. What was the response to that question? I had to look at the chat for a second. Look at all the mods disappeared after I said don't just block everybody. Are you guys on strike now? I'm just saying there's people, there was like 3 or 4 people that were blocked that needed to be unhidden. Okay, you know, they could be really good people. You know, and I read their comments and they weren't bad. Come on, you guys. And if somebody goes, here's the thing, don't only remove a comment that trashes the channel or accuses somebody that there's no evidence or something like that. But if they say stuff like, oh man, that guy's an idiot, referring to the guy on the screen, and not me, of course, yeah, then, you know, they can just say it, right? I mean, that's what the response, yeah, they said that a long time ago. In the first press conference, they said it's not a murder-suicide. It's kind of a dumb question to ask after all this time. It's like those are the people whose minds wander. They sit around after the show, have their little cup of coffee, have a podcast playing in the background, and they're like, ooh, hey, did you hear that one? You know? That's just kind of the way it is. And they get really excited, have this whole story made up in their mind. They come up with this story about what, like, one of them killed themselves, and then as he stabbed himself, he chucked the knife 1,000 miles away. Just somehow, well, here's what it was. I got it. So he let's say it's the guy, right? He stabs everybody, and then he stabs himself, but has enough time to put the K-bar knife onto a carrier pigeon. But it was actually a fleet of carrier pigeons because one alone couldn't carry it. So they then flew away with the K-bar knife, and we don't know who. Now, here's what we got to figure out. Where did the fleet of carrier pigeons fly to? And I think that's where we're going to get an answer. All right. I just haven't sent. Oh, Jesus. Right. That's what it is, right? What, then why would it be murder-suicide? It's just... it's ridiculous. They were thinking murder-suicide in the house, obviously. If it's somebody else that killed them and killed themselves somewhere else, yes, technically that would be a murder-suicide, but not really, because it's sort of like... I think that implies instantaneously. Like, you kill them, then you kill yourself, right? That's what that implies. Oh, wait, excuse me. Murder unaliving. Whew, wow. Yeah, when you guys hear unaliving, run for the hills, okay? When somebody uses that term and they're a creator, just be gone at that moment. That means they're just caved into some weird social sort of like experiment of nuttiness. All right, so it's a little bit better than last night. It's 30%. Think the perp was in the house at before 1:45. Okay, now let me ask another question for you guys. Oh, I got to close the other one. Ending that poll. Let's see. Did the two. Okay, here we go. Here's a good question for you. That would be mostly, okay, so that would be sort of like the people that think the person got there at 3. See, I think it's possible they did based on the way they worded that. Like, they went to bed at 1 and then they woke up. Really? But there's people out there that said they've heard rustling and sounds out there. And then they locked their doors. You remember that? So we'll see. We'll see. If you were dean of school, would shut down the college? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might just make it remote schooling. But then at the same time, let's say they don't arrest a guy in 3 years. The school shut down the whole time? Yeah, I don't know. I think what you do is you increase patrol dramatically. Like I would actually not shut down the school. I would add an extra 100 police officers on the campus until an arrest is made. And whatever that costs is whatever it costs. Maybe 100's too many, but you could put like 50, right? Because when you start shutting things down, that's when you allow the killer to win. They love that shit. Yeah, the dog was in the home. Yeah, they said that in another press conference or something. Thank you, living it, as in living the dream. Yeah. They didn't say it today. It was in another press conference. Do you think that they were targeted for something? No, I don't think that at all. Something a parent or relative may have done and not... No. Not a chance. Because they weren't even related. There wasn't one of the four that were related to each other. Why wouldn't you just kill the sibling of the family member who did somebody wrong somewhere? Yeah, it's just not likely. Who's Mr. McFly? What are you talking about, NEC? Oh, if you were dean of the school, would you shut down? Yeah, well, that was the question. Oh, that question. Okay. Yeah, you already typed it in. You made it sound like I missed it or something. Jesus. Whew. Wow. Thank you, Emily Flotilla. Never illa. Oh, we might. Is there anybody that called in? Oh, there's one. 979, you're on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, this is Laura, but in chat I am Malia's Uma.
Yeah.
I called. Okay, sorry, had to turn the speaker off. I called a couple of days ago.
I was gonna say this. I was gonna say, never heard of you.
Huh?
I was gonna say, never heard of you. I was just gonna be joking though. It was like something.
Yeah. No worries.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I called in a couple days ago and I said I didn't think it was personal because of the stab wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that call where I was saying that I.
Well, everybody knows it's personal because of stab wounds. I mean, there isn't anybody that doesn't.
Well,
know that.
no. I'm saying like personal to them, like they don't know somebody personal or whatever. I was never on board with the ex. I always thought that it was somebody different. You know what I mean? Like maybe personal to the killer for sure, but not. Like
yeah.
to the
Well, I
girl
think they're
or
gonna
to
know. I think
Ethan.
they're gonna know who he is. Like they've seen him before and know who he is.
Right. Not like intimate to them, but that it is somebody who obviously,
that was
is
basically
personal to the killer,
our
obviously.
first. That was our first theories, the first nights until they came up with the call information came in, because those calls were 1 hour before they were murdered, so it seemed like wow. I mean, that's just. But there you go.
Right. Yeah, but to me, I just didn't even, and I guess I couldn't put the X in there because it takes a lot to stab 4 people, right? Like,
yeah, but he was an athlete.
We're
He
talking
played
blood.
tennis.
We're talking.
He looked a little weaker than people. People think he looks so weak, but he really, he was a tennis player, an athlete. He just looked differently. But
I'm not even talking physical. I'm talking mental. Like mentally, it takes a lot to mentally stab 4 people in that aspect, which I think would just be so much for. I mean, I know rage and all the above. I get it, but I just felt like from the get-go that it was, a lurker, a stalker, or whatnot. I've always, and I'm still stuck at. I think that he didn't know that there were the 2 people downstairs because they came home early and there was no lights, there was no movement, there was no nothing. But that whoever it was watching in that wooded area and just took their opportunity. And I just think it was just one of those type of situations because it just.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were saying. I mean, that was our first theory on here, you guys. I mean, so the first theory was just like that. Okay, then it evolved into, wow, because of the phone calls. And, the longer it was taking, we sort of going back to stuff like that. So it's not like, this isn't new stuff that you're coming up with.
I must have missed
Yeah, go back and listen to the
that,
first shows on it, yeah.
Yeah, or I was doing something else at that time, so my apologies. But I do want to know, what is your take on them taking so long to take photos, to go back and get more evidence, all of the above? Do you feel like it was kind of That they just said, oh,
No.
it's intimate, personal, and they didn't take all the info at that time,
No.
or what? That seems like a long time to go back, right?
Well, no, they didn't. They've just been working the scene for a long time. Even after, how long they kept the bodies in there, we don't know. But, they took 4,000 photographs, 103 pieces of evidence, and they have 3D scans of the building, which are crazy. I mean, they probably did that while the bodies were still in there. So they can always go back and look at the scene and see how it was at the time.
Right. You saying the bodies taken out just made me realize I don't think we've ever seen any photos of the bodies being taken out, right?
Yeah, thank God, huh?
Well, for sure. But you know how all these people, they go and they take pictures 24/7 or whatnot. And
Yeah,
so
well,
I
maybe
was
they
just
did it
thinking,
late
I
at
don't
night
know
when
if we've
nobody
ever
was paying.
seen when
Maybe they did it late
processed
at night when
that.
nobody was paying attention or something.
Yeah. Well, I think that he kept the knife, too. I don't think that he dropped it anywhere because, of course, my mindset is still that it's a crazy stalker, serial, whatever. So I think that knife is personal to him as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's something that he dumped.
People were maybe looking at maybe somebody from one of the ROTC around there. I heard that as a
Oh, really?
Those are just rumor mill stuff, though. Like,
what's up with the ROTC?
well, nothing. Never mind.
Oh,
I just told you it was
okay.
a rumor, and then you got really interested in it.
Oh, no,
Okay, so
I didn't hear that.
I was just saying
didn't
that they
hear
were maybe they were looking
You said
around.
people were.
Yeah, there's like rumors about the
Yeah.
ROTC, and they were just wondering, because the knife is sort of a military style, so there's ROTC right in the area there.
Sure. The other thing is that it was Kaylee that's reported to have the stalker, right?
Yeah, that's the one who said it. Yeah, but they said they couldn't find anything about a stalker.
So that means that it probably wasn't, iPad, iPhone, text, or anything like that kind of stalker. Maybe she just saw someone around her, but she's been gone for how long? Do we know? Like not living at that house.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, there's two people that were. If she wasn't really a roommate, because they always say that they were roommates. The police even keep saying that. So I don't know who's saying that she was just visiting. Police usually clear up stuff like that. They cleared up Ethan. He wasn't a roommate. So why didn't they clear up if, I don't know. Maybe she was like just running. She was just about to totally move out, but had already been gone for a little bit, but still had paid there and was just hanging out again. I mean, who the hell knows what the real answer is, but
right. Well, and that kind of sparked my interest too, because if she was there, right, and she was having a stalker or whatever, and then all of a sudden she moved, gone, and then here she is surprised because they didn't expect her to be there, right? She was coming to show her car, her new vehicle. So what if the stalker saw her out that night?
I don't know. I mean, we could do what ifs all day long. Yeah,
and then followed her or what?
Yeah, unless Madison was, maybe Madison was the target. That was what on the original shows. It looked like Madison was probably going to be the target, and
she's the one
I was thinking that maybe,
and
that girl, Madison,
Okay.
and then I was thinking that maybe there was somebody that liked her, but she didn't. Like him back, and then that person, tried to be over there, but all the roommates were angry, they, not angry, but they made him angry because he blames them for her not wanting to give him a chance or something. So he goes back in there and kills those 4, but then you wonder, like, why just those 4? And maybe it is just simple, like, it seems like he would have killed all 6 if that was the case. But if you came in through the sliding door on the second floor, that makes sense for just killing the 4 if it's sort of a random attack where somebody's looking in there. Oh, look at that. And then goes in there on the second floor, kills that, and them, and then goes up to the 3rd floor and kills those 2, and then leaves out the same sliding door and never made it down to the lower level. Maybe didn't even realize that there were people sleeping on the lower level, because when you look at it from the back parking lot area, it kind of looks sort of like it's just 2 floors, but there's this other little part.
Yeah, and from the back of the house, I don't think that there's anything that you can see, windows or anything, because where the cars are look to be where the first floor windows are.
No, you can see all kinds of stuff. Behind and to the corner, you can see the deck and the windows and the sliding doors and everything.
Right, but from one direction, could you see the first floor?
I just think when you're back behind in the woods back there, it makes it sort of difficult to realize that there's a first floor.
See, that's what my thought was, and so.
Yeah.
And I thought of something else I was going to ask you, but old brain, so I won't keep you. I know that you've got tons of other people.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, hey, we're right there. Okay, we're still kicking.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Well, thanks for calling.
Well, thanks for all you do, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to go revisit the original theories. I mean, yours might have slightly differences in there, but it's kind of the same thing about, there's some guy, it was either like somebody that knew them, or some, or knew one of the girls and was really interested, but she didn't like him, and then blamed the other people because they didn't like him either, and it was like they got really angry and came back. Or it's some guy that was just like a stalker from the town, saw them, followed from a distance home and watched from behind the house through the windows, and then went in and made their move and ended up killing 4 different people. Maybe didn't know exactly. Seems like you would have known. See, that's the part that's difficult is, like, if there's some stalker that's watching to the windows, that they're on the 3rd floor. It's really simple. I guarantee it those girls were not careful making sure that the windows were always shut when they were doing things. So somebody was probably, if they were back there and they were looking, they would have gone into the house and known to go up the set of stairs after going through the sliding glass door. But instead they killed all 4, so you sort of wonder, like, that's just really odd, and they were all sleeping, so this person intentionally went in and killed 4 people that were sleeping. So why did they do that? That's the question,
Right. It wasn't, and that's another reason why I say I don't think it's, like, personal to them, because you would think that, okay, like, we know it's not the Jack guy, right? But in that scenario, if he was so angry and he was going to do it, you would think that in that moment they would want them to know it's me that's killing you, right?
Maybe, but they said it was really sloppy, and like they have 105 pieces of evidence. I mean, almost every single thing fits.
Just all the blood mix.
Almost every single thing fits the having it been the X. That would have been an absolutely perfect fit.
Well, sure.
But it turns out they don't think it's him, so you've got a situation now where most of us and everybody are sort of in this weird place where it's just some almost, maybe a slight acquaintance of some sort, but some psycho that's wandering around. In some ways, I'm glad it's not Jack. But at the same time, it would have been better if it was him, because they'd be able to get an answer and solve the case quickly. But as the days were going by, I was like, man, all these days and it's him? I mean, that just doesn't seem... But now they finally said that they don't believe he's
Well, and now
suspect.
It's just left to there's some crazy possible. So, watch out. I would hate it for that little small town. Boy, they've had a lot of stuff go down in that little 25... 1,000. That's a small area.
Well, it's like that in all college
type of stuff.
campuses. All college campuses are the same. The only thing that's different is that there was 4 people murdered. Every other thing there happens all over the place all the time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I live in a college town, but I live in a huge college town. So, and we've got crazy stuff that's going on over here too. But I think that, so for me personally, that stalker side, it takes me to childhood, because I actually, in high school, had a guy that stalked me, came looking for me. I was not at the friend's house, and ended up going and picking up a college girl in a parking lot, and they brutalized her, raped her, and taped her to the tree. But it was supposed to be me, is what he said in the court documents. So I can understand the aspect of the crazy mind taking the 4 out. You know what I mean? Like, just in that instant. So I just kind of keep coming back to that stalker crazy, not personal to the girls or Ethan, but it's very personal to that person, the killer, obviously. that relationship.
Yeah,
Because, or the only other reason would be just a
I
crazy
think what makes
serial
it,
killer
what
and
makes
just
it,
took crime of opportunity.
I think what makes it personal is just based on what you're looking at. When people go, well, how do you know it's personal? How do you know it's personal? Well, somebody went into a house, stole nothing, and killed 4 people. That's how you know. That's how you know it's personal. So just that alone.
Right. Well, all right. Well, y'all have a wonderful evening. I'm going to sit and listen.
All right.
while
Have a good
I do all the
Thanksgiving.
other things.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Have a great night.
All right. See ya.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, that's going to do it for this show. I think what we'll do is we'll spin for it's a house mug with the people that supported the channel during this show. Actually, now we're going to do an everything tumbler. How about that? Because there was I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah. So here's this conversation. Hey, sorry, I've never. This lady sends me a picture of where the sex offenders live, and I said I've discussed those many times, and they're on the map on every show. And she says, "Sorry, new viewer to your show, and on my phone I didn't see those small markings. Won't bother you again." I said, "Thanks." And then she said, "Rude." I said, "No, I was saying thanks. You seem butthurt, though. Don't have time for that crap." "Nope, just stating my opinion and unsubscribing. We'll stick to real info." God, what a whiner. Like, if you're sending me something, and let's say I do a whole press conference, I have a whole show on it, and then later you send me the press conference. Don't you realize that, like, how ludicrous that is? I went over the sex offenders. I've done it 4 times on my shows. So you must not have watched any of them. Right? God, it's unbelievable. People. Scary almost. Embarrassing. All right. Hey, thanks, Emily Flotilla. Yeah. She said, "Have I told you, freaks, I love you." Yeah. Yeah, freaks are amazing. Freaks are awesome. Thanks for all the mods, for all you do. I know it gets busy in there with shit flying by, but we'll just make sure we get if you accidentally, I know you guys are good at unhiding somebody, but let's try to, like, make sure we are not hiding people at all, because it removes every one of their comments that they made prior. Also, when you time out somebody, timing out, I don't mind every once in a while. There's people that just say ludicrous shit all the time, so yeah. I don't think my first comment was rude at all. Do you? My first one back, I said I've discussed those many times, and they're on the map every show. That's all I said, just matter of factly. I don't have time to sit around and be like, "Well, thank you so much. That's very thoughtful of you. I really appreciate it. By the way, I have covered that 19 different times on my shows, and I hope that," you know what I mean? It's like, I don't have time for it, And you're sending me stuff while I'm doing a show. It's totally, it's just totally matter of fact. That's just the way it is. I mean, how many of you guys have gotten similar ones? "Hey, Gray, have you seen this?" I go, "Yeah." Yeah, because I get like 100 emails. Yeah. But it is what it is. I mean, if you think it's rude and you don't like it, then you don't have to be here. It's no big deal. It's real simple shit, Absolutely simple. All right, let's see. So I'm going to do the spin now. Let me say thank you to everybody, though. So thank you to Tamara. Not today, but tomorrow. Amy Ristad. Maybe I'll read all these. "I'm perpetually confused, but you look good in blue, but you're so mean. Happy Thanksgiving." Well, thank you. Welcome to Super Mean Sadie. Bad Girl said, "Thank you for all your hard work and have a happy holiday." You too. BC said, "We know what you do and we know why you do it. Reddit and trolls can remain ignorant. Happy Thanksgiving. Gavel Geek. People can be such jerks. Keep doing what you do, Gray. Thank you. Candalee Woodward Stone. Just lurking. Happy Thanksgiving. You too. I wish I was a little bit taller is the name. Thank you very much. Correct. Just kidding. Emily Flotilla, thanks for your dedication. Gray, love my freak family and the moderators. Barb Schilling, so impressed with your channel, Gray. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. 8675309. Hey, Allah, hey, Allah. Hey, Allah, hey, Allah. Tamara, not today, but tomorrow, the Troll Fund. Quietly Frozen Troll Fund. Emily Flotilla. Never Illa. Have I told you, freaks? No, that was way up there. Hold on a second. Man, I gotta go way up there now. That was a mile ago. I don't know if I have time to read through these all, actually. Let's see. Emily Flotilla, True Blue, Troll Fun, Colleen Dahmen, thank you. Alley Cake, Richard Canick, The Mechanic, Jamie, Charlie Lynn, Mama 457 Rose, Nona 617, Your Gypsy, Roswell Native, where the UFOs are, you know. Whimsical Me, Renergy, Cindy Lynn, Living It, as in living the dream. Michael G, Energy, or Renergy again, and Renergy again, thank you so much. Michelle, I guess Michael G again, and Kathy Bartlett, BC, Barb Schilling became a new member, Paisley Dreams, Persephone's Pomegranate, Emily Flotilla, Cuckoo Bananas, Sack and Fox Nanny, Reticent Robin, I wish I was a little bit taller, thank you, Marty McFly, Living It, Emily Flotilla, Ola Perito, Cuckoo Bananas, Emily Flotilla, Sarita, and well, thank you guys very much. And then also on, let's see, where is this? I think there was Sarah Osborne on PayPal. So thank you guys very much. All right. Very cool, very cool. So here we go. We're going to do the spin now. This is going to be for the Everything Tumbler. One lucky winner will win the Everything Tumbler as a thanks for at least helping support the channel. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, and the Cash App. I forgot about that. I do have you in the spin. I do have you in the spin. Hold on a second. They don't show up like the rest of them. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, and then Lori. I want to make sure what your name is on here. Yeah. Okay, Lori Michelle. Okay. Thank you very much for the Cash App there. You already were in the spin though. I caught it earlier from my email, so that's good. Although I have your regular name in the spin. So. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. We're going to do the spin for the Everything Tumbler. Oh, that's the other one. That's Lori's. Oh, okay, it's a different one. Okay. So it's Lori Sparks had the... I don't know what you guys are doing. There's somebody else with your exact same... Do you have two sign-ons on here? What's going on? You got me confused, LM Sparks. So it was Renergy. All right. So you have two accounts logged in here? Wow. You got that much to say that you want to go back and forth? Alright. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Alright, guys, we'll probably be back on a little bit later. Who knows what we'll be talking about, but we'll be back on. Alright, thanks everybody for being here and supporting the channel and hanging out for the press conference. Alright? Only thing that was really new was we found out that they took 3D scans inside the building, 4,000 photographs, 103 pieces of evidence, and they seemed to kind of rule out the ex-boyfriend of Kaylee, whose name is Jack, from consideration. Okay, so thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys later, and as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. In a 2, in a 3, in a... Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And
I don't know,
during
Emily.
this whole
I
time,
don't know.
I have not seen one person.
Emily wants to talk to me. Emily wants to talk to me. Emily wants to talk to me. I know, we can see it.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm only gonna be a protector. Full of flanker, interceptor. Enemy of the respecter with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper fucking rejection. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender.
You seem so happy, Mary. What happened?
What's
Thanksgiving tomorrow?
I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to
Through the boom to dime in the prime. You.
Hey, yeah. So for some of you, if I don't talk to you tonight, have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you guys a little later in the evening for the ones that are staying around, all right? So thank you very much. And until next time, be safe out there.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Gee.
Wow.